Hello and good evening and welcome back to Stampin' with Sandra. Okay, this evening I am continuing my theme of the spring florals. So I'm just getting my camera ready up to join you up there on there. So yes, I'm carrying on from my theme this week using the pierced blooms dies. Lovely floral ones. It's really lovely stitch detail on these. So I've got a few samples to show you and I'll recap on what I did on Sunday on Facebook. So let me get you down onto the table and see what we've got here. There we go. So the pierced blooms is part of the In Bloom stamp set and the die bundle. So the dies, I've listed my dies in here. Just get rid of those ones. Pierced blooms dies. There are loads of pieces in here. There's 25 in the set. Lots of leaves and floral images, and all of them are, nearly all of them are stitched images. They are just so gorgeous. So I'm going to put those to one side for a moment. I have pre-cut them just to cut down on time, but I have got a little bit of cutting to do. So I'm going to just recap on Sunday night's project. Now this is one of my note cards that I did using one of the Sale-A-Bration papers. So this is from the Friendly Hello papers, and the note card just had the envelope backed as well. So these are all stitched images. I'll just bring those up a little bit. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit more actually. Just a sec so you can come in better. That's it. I don't have to hold my hands up in the air. Hi Shaz, have I unpacked and recovered? I am totally recovered, thank you my dear. I had 6 ladies in today. I should have had 7, but sadly the other one had COVID, so she couldn't come. So yeah, I had 6 ladies today and I was just in time ready for them. It's all nice and clean and tidy. Not much to tidy up today. They've been a very good crowd, so it's been really nice. And Anne is joining us today. She was with me today. So there you go. Hi Anne. I'm just recapping on Sunday night's one, which you watched along with. So I love the note cards. They are a cute size. Now I've got a couple of cards lined up today because I've pre-cut several pieces. I'm just going to have a bit of an experiment with you. This is the card that I've done for tonight, another note card. I saw a layout similar to this, nothing to do with Stampin' Up, but I thought I liked the way 3 flowers together. That one was raised and these ones are flat, middle flat, and the centre's raised on these ones. So just a little bit different. So I've got that one, but I'm going to, now you've seen this one, I'm going to put that to one side and I'm going to take, I put it here. I'm going to take a white card here. Card base, a full size. So this is by comparison. This is the difference in sizes of the cards. I like this side. They're just really nice, just for say the little note or a little quick thanks or something. They're just really nice size. So I'm going to try it on this size because I'm going to do a little bit different. And I have got one set cut already. So in here I have the basic border dies. So there is a beautiful die in here that does this one at the top, that does a cloud-like image. Okay, so I've got the other borders in here as well. I've used most of them, but this one, you can see, you can either have the positive or the negative of this die cut. I've cut it with a piece either side, so you can actually sponge around those edges. So instead of having the yellow backdrop on here, we're going to actually have some sponging. Now I'm going to just grab a piece of scrap paper here. If you just bear with me, I'm just leaning around behind the camera. I have a piece of scrap paper, so it's creamy. You'll be able to see where I'm sponging on here. I have my Pool Party ink, and I'm going to use a blending brush. Now I'm just going to I don't wash mine in between. There is a hint of blue on there, but I'm tending to keep one per colour family. I'll just bring that on a little bit more so you can see it. I think I've zoomed in too far now, haven't I? Let's zoom out a bit. There we go, not too far. Okay, you had a lovely time. I'm glad you did, my dear. It was a really nice day, wasn't it? So I'm going to use this one again on here, and I always start off the matte first. It's more so with the darker colours, but you want to just have it so you're starting off and then you're coming over. Or if you're using something as a template like this, you can start off on there instead. You see, you do get a big splodge. So I'm just going to work some of that in. And I've done it at a jaunty angle, and I go circles both ways. So I'm doing clockwise now, and then I've got anti-clockwise as well. So that's quite a heavy one. I can then come down lighter. and just take a little bit off the edge there, depending on how you want your clouds to be. That's quite a faint one. So just having fun with it really. And these are the basic borders dies. Love them, absolutely love them. But they make some lovely cloud lines along. I've got some fluff on here, I don't know why. Can you see I've got 3 different lines there? I'll hold it up to the camera in a sec. Just vary where they are. Don't go down as a same line every single time. You just want to give it some depth of colour. And if you want to hold it still and just check, then you can go over again. But just make sure you don't move it in between. And like I say, I go both ways. I go circular, clockwise and anti-clockwise. And vary the angle. Should have brought my bottle of water in, shouldn't I? I've been chatting to a couple of my demo friends, and while I was die cutting, and I'm feeling a little bit hoarse now. So there's some. I'm going to go most of the way down here, but I do want to vary that. So if it's gone up, I'm going to use a shorter one. Okay, just keep going. It doesn't take much effort. It's a really nice effect, and you can use it over and over again. So I can keep this mask in with my dies. I'm getting a little bit fainter as I come down. Okay, so this is instead of the piece of paper that I used on that one. I hope I'm not jiggling the table. You can use them as bushes. Oh yeah, absolutely. The bushes, yeah, they work well as bushes. So cut them in green. Yeah, they're so versatile. I love sets where you can get a lot of bang for your bucks, if you like. You can use it in different ways. Just makes your money go further. You feel like you're getting more value for them. So I'm just coming down there. Doesn't matter if some are darker than others, because, you know, clouds in the sky, you know, they aren't all perfect. I have a saying that nature is never perfect. So even with blooms, with flowers, with trees, anything you're trying to do, it's never, nature's not ever perfect. So last one, I think. Sorry you've got the shadow from my camera. I've left a third light on. I've got one over my head behind me. I try not to have that on when I'm doing my lives. So I'm just going to go along here. I don't like it stark white along the bottom. So when we've finished that, I'm just coming along here just to take some of that white down. Just softens it so it's not a brilliant stark white in your face. Okay, so if I hold that up to the camera, sorry, you've got the phone there, haven't you? Where can I try and get it out of the shadow? That is a whole page of clouds, so that's looking really nice. So I'm liking that look. Okay, so I'll pop this away. I will keep it in my packet here. I'll let that dry first before I slot it in so the ink doesn't run off. So there's my back piece. So now I've got some stamps and some blooms that I've actually pre-cut here. Anne saw my little box today, and they used some of the ones I cut extras the other night. So I've got a frame, and I've got these images. Now, sometimes when you get die cuts, it's hard with these little ones. Let me just tip that off. Get my brush out, excuse me. This isn't my stiffest brush, but this is when you do die cuts, you do sometimes get bits along the edges. Because these are so thin, it's hard to run your fingernails along the edges. But if you do just get a little stiff brush, I normally have one slightly stiffer than this, it gets away. Can you see these little flaky pieces? Probably not. Little flaky pieces on here. It just takes some of those edges off. So I'll just do those quickly. It's only on these tiny pieces. And it happens occasionally with die cuts. Normally if you've gone forwards and back through your die cut, sometimes it's just that tiny little piece different. So I like to take those off. It just finishes the edges nicely. So that's just those 3 pieces. Everything else will be fine. So these are going to come onto my piece here. Now I'm going to put a frame on here. I've used my stitch rectangles. Now I've done this one, I've left another die on here for the smaller size. So these are stitched rectangles, and I've cut the outer layer and the inner layer together, just a piece of Scotch tape in there. And I'm just going to poke this one through, and this one should just pop out now, I hope. There we go. So it's actually making you a frame. Of course, this piece you can put aside and use that on another project. And then this is my frame I'm going to use. Now this was for the smaller size, for the note card. So I'm just going to show you again with the big, oh, there we go, with the bigger one. I've just cut the two exactly the same. Because they are stepped down in sizes, you actually get the a nice thin frame on there. Okay, so that's actually going to shine through that frame. So I want to make sure that these stems don't protrude beyond my frame on here. Now I have some flowers. I'm going to have one up into the middle there. And Smudge is saying hello, everybody. So I'm going to start by placing this one down with the frame in place so I know where my bottom line is on here. I'll zoom you back in a sec. Just a little bit so you can see a bit clearer. So I want this to be along the bottom and I don't want to protrude beyond that. So I'll just, she's been a little pain at the door there. I'm sorry if you can hear her. Anyone would think she hadn't been fed umpteen times by my ladies today. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that one on there like so. I know where the frame's going to go. It's just moved slightly. And that one's going to come up in the centre. Now I can move that out of the way. Okay, all fingers and thumbs. So these are very, very narrow. The pierced blooms, there are lots of lovely pieces in here. I'm going to have one coming out slightly from the right and just at an angle, and then one coming out from the left and at an angle. It's like so, but I don't want to have them longer than that frame. So I just want to test for, first of all, I want to test my sizes for where my blooms are going to be. So you've got a bit of height restriction on here. You can lower that or heighten it according to where you want it. So I think these flowers are going to be good size for that. So I'm going to just trim these two other pieces off, level with that other one. Okay, you get my drift. So I'm just going to come there and there. Then I know that that's the length I need them to be. Okay, so they can go on the same way now, just with a little drizzle of my Tombow. Just down the bottom here and across there as well. And there we go. That's coming out from the side. So it's kind of like doing the clouds like this. It's kind of like looking like it's a bit of a field. It's just framing it, looking out of a window. There we go. So that's coming out that way. And you might be able to see more on here as to what I mean about these little wispy pieces down the side. So once they're stuck down, it makes it a little bit easier actually to get those last little bits off. Just run the bristles along the edge. Little tiny little fluffy bits. Okay, so now I'm going to put the frame on and we can position the rest around the frame. Okay, now to place this on here, I am going to use the pieces from my Stampin' Dimensionals. The thinner ones, I'll get a whole sheet out. The thinner ones here, lost my scissors, under my nose here. So these ones along the side here, once you use your Stampin' Dimensionals, the pieces along here can all be snipped at whatever depth you need them. So you've got as fat or as thin as you want. So I want these to be fairly fine so that they don't protrude beyond the frame. So hopefully you can see me cutting those. Okay. You managed to get your comments up then tonight, Anne. You said you were struggling last time. Or was it the Facebook sign? So I'm just going to snip several of these because this is a slightly bigger frame than the last one. Okay, there's a few. So we can come back and do the rest of them in a minute. So I'm going to turn this over because I've got my nice stitch side on this side. This is the right side. Which is the right? Just check. This is the right and that is the wrong. So I'll put them on the wrong side. And I'm going to put them in the corners, but I'm taking them off at the same time. There's no point going back and touching it again a second time, so while I'm there I take the back off. Okay, and I need probably 4 down each side. And it's just recycling. We're talking today about recycling and what we can do in the craft world. So it's just using all of those pieces and not wasting anything. We like to be thrifty and make our supplies go further. Okay, that's a couple. There we go. And that makes it look nice and neat along there. Yeah, she is gorgeous, isn't she? Bless her. But she knows it. She's had lots of treats today, and they did have their prawns with their sachet of meat for tea. So she has been well fed, even though she says otherwise. I had prawns on I didn't want to have it as a jacket potato tonight, so I actually had a baby butternut squash, and I baked it like a potato, and it was lovely. So I'll definitely be doing that again. I was trying not to have so many carbs, so from the carb point of view, the butternut squash is better. Now this is going to be quite flimsy to get on here, so I won't press anything down until I'm happy it's in the centre where I want it to be. So it's just a case of it playing a bit of a balancing act, getting it in the middle, top and bottom and side to side, and we're just over the ends of those stems. I think that's quite good actually. I'm going to press that all down, and you just end up with that little bit of a frame, just so that you can just see around there, but you've still got your clouds as though you're looking out of a window. Okay, so I kind of like that effect. Now for my colours today, I did pink on the other one, so I was wondering whether to use pink or yellow. I think the yellow one here now is going to be a bit wishy-washy. Just see what you think. You can put your comments on here, whether you like the yellow with a pink centre on there, okay, as one option, or you'd like another magenta with the yellow centre. Okay, which do you prefer? They were, you can buy strips. We do strips. I'm not sure that they're that narrow. I will have a look. Yes, it was the Facebook. Tonight's better on that's good. I'm trying to do one of each, just different audiences and just different platforms. So which would you prefer? Do you prefer the yellow at the bottom or the pink at the bottom? Let me know. I just wondered if that was going to be a bit wishy-washy on its own. A bit too pale, I think. I think I like the pink. I'll wait and see what you say. But I'm going to put these ones, I'm going to put one raised, so I've got my larger pads. So the Stampin' Up dimensional go in the middle of that one. And then because I've raised the bottom, then the top will go on flat. So I just put dot of Tombow in the centre. So I tried to just have one depth on a card, so that could be there, and then these ones would be flat. I wonder what it would look like as a mixture. We could do different ones, couldn't we? We could have a bit of strength in there. Oh, I quite like that. So I'm going to make this one of the little dimensionals in the centre, so that this one's going to be flat. I've not stuck them down to the card yet. We're just laying it out to see how it looks. That one and one of those. Little backings of these dimensionals go everywhere, don't they? So I'm going to turn this one over. Can you guys hear her at the door? You want the pink on the top? Yes, I think that's the best option. Just do these ones first and see what we think. We'll have them ready built anyway for the next card if we do get time for two. So we've got kind of a couple like that. How does that look? Or just, oh, you got a yellow and you got a pink. Okay, I think I'd better play your devil's advocate and do part and part then, shall I? We've got leaves to go on here as yet as well, but I'm going to stick these down. We'll go for a mixture. So I'm going to bring that one up because my frame's high. Can you see where I was saying about you can bring that right down to here if you wanted, but because I'd got the height to give it, I'm going to pop that in between there. And then this one I will just bring in just enough to be inside the frame. And that one's raised, these ones will go flat, so you've got some dimension. Okay, I'll pop that one in there. I don't really want it outside of the frame. And the same with this one. I've got height to play with on here, so I can have that is going underneath that one So that could come down anything as far as that, just to give it some different shape. I'll stagger them. So pop that one under there. It's a little bit in between there. There we go. So that's those ones. Just shuffle my chair in. So now I'm going to go on to my leaves. Now these pairs of leaves are really cute, but they need to be snipped singly. So I'm going to, is the right side? That's the right side. So what I'm going to do is take them off the main stem. So there and there. So you've got a little bit of leeway in, and I need 3, so I need one of the other pair as well. So I'll take one off there. Okay, and then these can be, I might put some more on actually. It's a bigger card, so I might get away with more leaves. So I'm going to pop one there. If I lay them down first and see where I'm happy with them. This is a bigger leaf, so probably want to have a couple on there. Hard on some of these to know which is the upper and which is the back. Let's cut another one of those. I'll have this one. I like, when I'm die cutting, I like to fill the plate when there's sets like this that have got lots of pieces. Can you remember there's 25 dies in this set? So there's an awful lot of pieces. So it's a good idea if you can have a pot of some description and just have several of the same colour. So if you've got a piece of card, put all your scraps on there, just fill the plate up and then do it with one turn. It just saves elbow grease. So I have the lid and the base here from, this is some colours I did the other day, and this is tonight's pot. So it's just handy to have them prepped ready. And again with these, you can have, some of them can be raised and some can be flat. It's entirely up to you. Okay, I'm going to stick these ones now. I'm happy where they are. This one can go lower. I might put the greeting up on this one. Keep that out of the way for the greeting. My sentiment today comes from one of the Sale-A-Bration sets. Now there's, the Sale-A-Bration will finish on Monday night. So if you make any purchases of £45 or more, you will be entitled to free products. Okay, I'm just going to use that little brush, and brush off some of those little pieces of dye that are just falling off there. That's it, we're finished. So I like the look of that. Now for my sentiment, I start to say this is the Sale-A-Bration set, Special Moments. This is actually a £90 spend, but you get all of those greetings on there. There's 21. So I'm using just a little high from me. I used the set from the stamp set with the dies last time, but I'm using this one because I wanted a smaller greeting just to tuck in on the edge here. So I have my stamp. I'm using Magenta Madness because it's a nice strong colour. I have a piece of the magenta card to punch out one of my double ovals. So this is a beautiful punch. It just works with everything. So that's quite handy. Just find a piece of my white card. And I will stamp a sentiment. I've got rather a big piece here, so I'll just cut a piece off there. So that's for my layer, and then this is going to be for my stamp. Just a little high from me. Okay, and I'll pop that there. Normally with the photopolymer, oh no, I've got a low battery. That's not going to do, is it? Just bear with me, I'm going to go run and get the lead. Are you still there? be quite a contortionist for this contraption to have the leads. It's not going to do it. Apologies, ladies. I think I'm back. Sorry there. My extension lead wasn't long enough. Fatal. But we have company. So she might settle down now and be quiet. So anyway, sorry, I left you just a little high from me and stamped in the magenta. Just going to get that into the centre, like so. Now I do like to sponge the edges on my pieces here, and I had a little tiny scruff of sponge. Stampin' Up used to sell the sponges, but they don't sell them anymore. So this is just a piece of sponge in a little round tab there, just to hold it so I don't get my fingers messy. So I'm just going to sponge those edges. And because the door's open now, we might get the other cat in, and we might get husband wondering what's going on. Because normally if the door's shut, then he knows I'm recording. So just going around those edges, and all I'm doing is going at right angles. So I'm coming downwards, straight downwards from that stamp. Okay, so pop that one away. And then this one will go on the back here. Okay, I'm going to put that one down flat because the frame is raised and it is going to sit level on the edge of the frame. Okay, press that one down. So bring my card back on, and this is just going to come, I was going to put on the last one I did it on the corner, but I'm wondering if that might look nice there because we've got the height in this card. I think I'm going to put the dimensionals and put it inside so that can have some Stampin' dimensionals on there. Just a couple of those. There we go, get rid of the little bits. And that can pop in the middle. Okay. And then of course we've got to add the bling. Now I didn't have bling the other night, but I have gone over those with the Wink of Stella. So I just bring that one back. You can see in the hopefully in the light you can catch on the middles of those flowers. You've got Wink of Stella on those. And then on this little one I did the gems. So I have rhinestones today. These are the champagne ones. These are one of my go-to gems because they seem to just take on the colour whatever you're putting them with. If I'm using blues or purples, I tend to go for the clear. But anything kind of in these hues, I just love those ones. So there is the bigger version, the adult version of the other one. Okay, just bring that down for you. So bring it up to the camera, you can actually see where the stitch dies are. Okay. And then just a little bit of detail on there. If you wanted to, you could pop another little, because it's got size to it, we've got space to waste. We could actually put a couple of those on either end as well. Just to fill a little bit more bling. Okay, so that's that one. I just wanted to go through how I did the other one as well. Come back to that one at the end. So this is the smaller card. And because it's been pre-scored for me, I'm just with Stampin' Up note cards. Just go over that just to make sure that that's nice and flat. Now I had some designer series paper to hand, and I've moved them. Yeah. So these are from the Sunshine and Rainbows set. So these are the papers again that are free from Stampin' Up. Now because how I was planning the card out, I've sponged my own clouds this time. This was the one I used last time behind there because I thought they looked like clouds. But these ones, I had wondered whether these ones might work, but I think that they're all a bit heavy. That's still quite dark for, it wouldn't really be a sky like that, and you wouldn't have a whole sky full of sun. So I did go against those ones. So it's between these two and whether I would like to have these clouds behind instead. So we've got 3 different looks really. So if you're looking through the window, I think that might look nice actually, and having some flowers on there. So this one, we've done one with that one, so I'm going to discard those. It's like being at the opticians. Select one and discard one. So I want this to come inside the frame. So this one needs to be trimmed. Trying to prevent a landslide here. So we want it just a little bit inside of the frame. So I think I want this one really wants to be about 7 centimetres to be inside. So I'll take a little slither off this one. Okay, there. And then this way we want that to be, it's 11, so I'd probably say just over maybe the 10.5. Okay, take those away, and that should be our piece to go inside there nicely. Just test it for size first before we stick it down. So these are the papers I was saying, Anne, earlier, that use the cloud punch. So in the Sale-A-Bration, these are completely free. There's a whole 48 sheets of different papers, and you get 12 designs on the front and 12 on the back. So you've got 24 designs, but they work nicely with the punch because you can just punch out those images. So it does have other uses as well. So that's going to sit inside of that frame nicely. So I'm going to adhere this one down now. So just with my Tombow, I'm hold it in my tweezers and then whiz it around there. And that's going to be in the centre. So in the middle, top and bottom and side to side. Okay. Now, this is where I just need to cut a few more pieces. I cut some extras, but not all of them. I'm going to use my little mini cut and emboss machine. I'll zoom you out a bit so you can see better. Okay, so on my sandwich tonight, I'm going to have the base panel, which is number 1. And then I'm going to have 2 of the cutting panels. This is well used, you can see. So I have the stem here. I need some more stems. So I'll grab some garden green. I'll chop that off. She wants her chair back and I put the trimmer on it. How dare I? Okay, so I'm just going to run this through 3 times very quickly. Just placing that on the top there and run it through. Now, I am just going to say, I'm going to swap that over, hang on. This is plate number 3. The base plate is a standard plate. It is the plate number 1. The gears on the machines are positioned about here, and some of the machines, they're all calibrated slightly, they can work out slightly different. And sometimes, if it's a little bit tight, I picked up a tip to change the white base plate for the number 3. And that is a really good one. It does work, and the tip is a very useful one. So I do tend to use that base plate. There's one of my stems ready. Okay, and the reason I'm telling you that and using this one is because there's an offer coming up in March, right, hot off the press. There will be some Stampin' Up offers in the March, and one of the offers will be 20% off your mini cut and emboss machine. So if it is something that you're looking at getting, then please get in touch with me or your demonstrator just to be aware of that offer coming up. I only got announced yesterday. There's some other offers on 20% off some stamp sets, some bundles as well. So you do need to be catching up on those if there's anything on your wish list that you'd like to save some money on. I love this little machine. I was so pleased when it came out. It's brilliant. And it's handy, it sits on your tabletop. So it doesn't, the big ones are just too heavy to lift on and off. Okay, so there's my 3 stems. Just making sure I've got enough flowers on here. I used some different ones on the other one. I've got middles. I think I'm going to do some of the other other shaped flowers, a little bit smaller. Yep, I'm going to do some more of the others. So we have the pink ones. So if I chop a piece of that off, I have enough leaves cut. It's just the flowers. So I'll bring this one back, get rid of those two. And there's so many on here to choose from, but when you are changing the size to a smaller flower, a smaller card, you want a smaller flower. So this is a really handy little thing. And then I've got enough pieces after these three. Okay, are you still with me? I hope I didn't lose you when the power went. It's still saying it's on red. It is switched on, it should be charging. There's one flower. And I'll keep all three the same just to keep it simple. Okay, there's the second. And one more. There's the third. So easy to use. Okay, there we go, that's out of the way. And this one now should be fairly straightforward to do. That's three of those, and we've got the middles in here already. So let's repeat what we did on the last one. We're going to do one stem down first, down the middle, and then trim the ends off where we want them. Just a little drizzle down there, and that one down the centre, and then I'm going to snip that end off. There we go. And then same with the other ones. A little tiny drizzle. Just sometimes I use my silicone mat with a sponge. If you squeeze very, very lightly with your Tombow, you can actually get this really, really faint, quite nice. So this one wants to be shorter. I'm holding that edge up so I can snip that away. And then the last one. You're seeing the same card done twice, but two different sizes. Okay, no, you're still there. That's lovely. Nice to have company. Okay, nature isn't perfect, as I said before, so don't worry about your stems not being parallel, symmetrical, in line, whatever. We don't need to worry about that. So now we have the frame, and we've got the back of the, I've got the little bits on my hand here, look. So go back to these pieces on the dimensionals, and we'll carry on along our line here that we had before, just cutting some little pieces. I will look into that, and I will check the width of them. I've got a feeling that they're long, they're a bigger pack than what you had in the kit today, like the candle kit, but they do some nice strips, but they have got I'll show you what I've got here. I don't think of doing them for strips, but you could equally as well do them for strips. So these ones here are large pieces. You might not know about these ones, I don't know. These ones are called foam adhesive sheets. So these sheets are whole pieces. So the reason I tend to use these is by putting a small piece of card on and die cutting my letters. So you can see on here in the packet I had pieces left over where I've die cut letters. So if you stick the card on like I've done here and stick it on first, you can cut out letters with the foam attached already for you. Just peel off the backing. It's a lot simpler. But these strips, you would be able to cut those as narrow as you wanted them. Okay, so that might be a tip for you. So let's grab the tweezers again, and we're just going to line these up around the outside. If I'd have thought about it, using a Stamparatus, you can actually use your magnets to your advantage for lots of techniques. So you could have clamped this on, you know, as I'm touching it, it just jumps away from me. you could do this on your Stamparatus and just holding the magnets down in place while you put these on. But I didn't think about it until just now. So do make use of your Stamparatus. It has so many uses, and it's not stamping, but it's still doing another job for us, making life easy. Okay, I hope you can still see me. I'm just on the camera, aren't I? Just taking these backings off as I go. There we go, another couple. Another, and one more. There we go, touch that, and that's going to come up like so. So these can easily be stretched out of control. So just hold them very gently over the top and make sure you're happy that it's lined up before you place it down. Top to bottom and left to right. There we go, they're all secure. So the first one on here is going to be 3D. At the top there, and in the frame again. These ones will be quicker now because we know what we're doing. I've shown you once. And just have these ones. That's the right side, that's the wrong side. Just make sure that the stitches are where you like them. So this is a classic example of this stem being up there, but I haven't got to stick it there. I can come down as long as it's not showing below that. Okay, rid of that one. And then I think they're fighting now. Bless them. Let's bring that one this side for me. So these will all have little tiny dimensionals on them. Just make sure you get the right and the wrong side together. So this one will have a height. So again, only one layer's got height to it. And that's the right side. I was saying today in class that I prefer to, if you're thinking about when you post things, you need to make sure the items aren't too thick. So I try to only have on a card, have one layer of dimensionals. This one's going flat because the flower is raised to give some dimension. I can see some wispy bits around there, so I'll just brush that off. There we are. We probably don't need so many leaves on here. The leaves are pre-cut as well. One on that side, one on that side. And I'll have another pair on that side with the snips. And you said today, didn't you, you love our snips. They are fabulous. They're so sharp. That is the right side. I haven't got my glasses on, but I can see which is the right and the wrong side. You'd need the one with the stitches on. Because this is a smaller card, I'm going to put them all on just with flat with Tombow. And on the bigger flowers, it's up to you whether you like to have one or two. I think that would actually be enough. There you go, save him for next time for another card. Okay, so one more little greeting and we will be done. So I hope you like these stitch dies. They are fabulous. I do love them. Just stamp that one. That might have been off camera, sorry. And the ovals. So the ovals, I know I haven't trimmed this off, but I can save this white one here for another project. Okay, so we're using that one. That one can go in the pot. That's that one. And a little bit of sponging on the edges, as before, just quickly down the edges like so. If you have a die cutting machine and you can sit and watch the telly at the same time, it's worthwhile just sitting and cutting loads of flowers. Have your scrap pots with you. We were using scraps up today as well. It's just quite therapeutic, just running them through and cutting them, and then you've got free hand. I didn't do the magenta one, did I? I thought I punched it and lost it. There we go. And this one's going to go on there flat. In the centre. And then bring our card back. So I don't want to cover too many of my leaves on here. This is why this one I put onto the side. So this side here where my fingers are is where I want to have some dimensionals. So I just literally keep those in the way until I've got them round. These ones will then sit on the inside, and then the rest of it will have some tombow on. You can see me, can't you? Yeah. And then this can just have some tombow, and it's going to catch on the frame. My tweezers need cleaning. I think they're a little bit sticky. Everything's catching on them. So just to come over the side of the frame here, and I like it to go over the edges a little bit. Okay, bling in the middle. Have to have bling. Scent of the flowers wouldn't be flowers without bling. There we go, 3 little pieces, and we're done. Okay, so there's our second card. So we've got the one from my sample that I made to show you in the first place, and we have the larger card as well. So you've got those 3. Okay, this one is still bouncing a bit, isn't it? Let's go over that a little bit more. Okay, that's better. Okay, so there's my 3 cards. Okay, with a frame, with the cloud sponge behind, so lots of techniques today. Okay, a little bit more bling and centered on the bigger card. Okay, can you cut them without them sticking to the scissors? Which, the dimensionals, and which one were you talking about? I was snipping to the dimensionals. When you're cutting through, you're actually cutting through the paper top and bottom. So then I just pull them off with the tweezers. It's just the fact that when I hold pieces in my tweezers, and then I go over with the glue on the back, they end up, sometimes they get glue on them. So that's why they're a little bit, just a wee bit sticky. But I use isopropanol alcohol, and I'll just put that on some kitchen roll, and I'll just wipe those, and they'll be as clean as good again. Okay, so I hope you like that. So I'll post a photo of those back. Let me bring you back to me. Take that away. I'll post you back. Oh, come here. Where are you? There we go. I'll post a photo on my Facebook group as well, so that you can see those samples again. Larger sheets. Oh, I don't know. Yes, these ones here, the square ones, they are the size of the Stampin' dimensionals that we have in the packs. Okay, so I would have thought so, because they're the same. They're exactly the same as these ones are here. So the little ones we're using, they just haven't been guillotined, cut into the hexagons. So large sticky strips, yeah, sheets to cut. I think you would be able to. But if it does get sticky, then you could literally just have some isopropanol, and that will wipe off really easily. Okay. So hope you've enjoyed those tonight. If you've got any themes for next week or future weeks, then please just let me know. If it's your first time visiting me, if you're watching this on replay, then please just subscribe to my channel below and ring the bell, and then you'll be notified when I go live again. Okay, which is every Wednesday at 9 o'clock, this time on London time, GMT. Okay.